The quiet Tuesday began like any other across the world. People went about their lives, unaware that everything was about to change. At precisely 9 o'clock a.m. in every time zone, screens flickered in government buildings worldwide. Television broadcasts interrupted regular programming. Phone displays lit up with the same message, even when powered off. Humans of Earth, you have been assessed by the Galactic Imperial Authority. Your species has been deemed a potential threat to galactic stability. Surrender your planetary governance immediately or face elimination. You have 24 hours to comply. The message repeated in all languages simultaneously, leaving no doubt of its authenticity. Initial reactions ranged from disbelief to panic. Many thought it was an elaborate hoax or cyber attack. That theory lasted until the Imperial ships became visible, massive shadows hanging in the stratosphere, just at the edge of visual detection. In the United Nations emergency session, world leaders struggled to form a response. Some nations immediately prepared military actions, while others called for peaceful surrender. As debates raged, no one noticed the subtle distortion of light in the corner of the chamber. Aboard the Imperial flagship, Emperor Taiwan watched the human reactions with mild interest. A tall figure with features that seemed almost human but not quite. He had ruled the empire for over 2 centuries. Earth had been observed since humans first used radio signals, with imperial anthropologists documenting our rapid technological progress. They developed weapons before they developed wisdom, Taiwan said to his advisors. The predictive models show a 78% chance they will become a significant threat within 3 centuries if left unchecked. His chief military advisor, General Min, bowed respectfully. The Black Star unit stands ready, Emperor. Shall we proceed with targeted elimination? Taiwan nodded. Begin with their leadership. Once destabilized, full pacification will be simpler. The Black Star assassins were the Empire's elite force, selected from the most capable warriors across 100 worlds. Their bodies enhanced with biotechnology, their senses expanded beyond normal parameters. They were living weapons. Each carried equipment centuries beyond Earth's most advanced technology. Remember, General Min instructed his team, these humans are primitive but unpredictable. Their threat level is low, but do not underestimate them. Complete stealth is required. The first assassination occurred during the British Prime Minister's address to Parliament. Midway through his speech about standing firm against alien threats, he suddenly clutched his chest and collapsed. Medical examiners found no cause of death. His heart had simply stopped beating. Security footage showed nothing unusual, though there was an unexplained 3-second glitch in the recording. The Russian president died next, found motionless at his desk. The doors and windows had remained sealed, with guards posted outside who swore no one had entered. The autopsy revealed a small puncture wound that had somehow bypassed all his protective measures. Within 72 hours, 17 world leaders died under impossible circumstances. The patterns were always the same: impenetrable security breached without explanation, deaths that defied medical understanding, and the faintest evidence of something not quite natural. In the White House, the American president increased security to unprecedented levels. The building went into complete lockdown, with the latest detection systems active. He survived longer than most, barricaded in the Presidential Emergency Operations Center deep underground. On the 6th night, as he reviewed emergency protocols with his remaining advisors, the lights flickered briefly. When they steadied, everyone in the room froze at the sight of a figure standing in their midst. The Black Star assassin appeared almost human except for eyes that reflected light like a cat's. The bodyguards fired immediately, but their bullets passed through the figure as if through smoke. Your species shows potential, the assassin said, voice oddly musical, but you are too dangerous to be allowed further development. With movements too fast to follow, the assassin touched the necks of both Secret Service agents. They collapsed instantly. The president backed against the wall, knowing he faced something beyond human understanding. Why are you doing this? He asked. We've never threatened your civilization. You would given time, the assassin replied, raising the small device. This is not personal. The Empire maintains order across the galaxy. Species that develop weapons before they develop philosophy must be managed. The president never felt the weapon activate. His heart simply stopped beating, his brain functions ceasing without pain. The assassin transmitted confirmation of the mission's completion and prepared to return to the Imperial ship. The Black Star unit had eliminated 34 world leaders in under a week, creating precisely the chaos Emperor Tawan had intended. Across Earth, governments fell into disarray. Some military units launched desperate attacks against the Imperial ships, their most powerful weapons disappearing harmlessly against advanced shields. Other nations declared immediate surrender, hoping to be spared. In the Imperial War Room, Tawan received reports with satisfaction. The primary phase is complete. Prepare for the ground forces to begin planetary pacification. General Min hesitated before speaking. Emperor, our intelligence indicates unusual activity in several regions. Some humans appear to be organizing resistance in unexpected ways. Primitive weapons cannot harm our forces. Tawan dismissed the concern. It is not their weapons that concern me, Min replied. Several Black Star operatives report being observed. We cannot identify how they are being detected. The Emperor frowned. Monitor the situation. If necessary, deploy additional units. Neither realized that on the island nation of Japan, a different kind of warrior was already preparing to fight back against the seemingly invincible invaders, using skills the Empire's advanced technology had never encountered and could not predict. The remaining world leaders gathered in a hidden bunker beneath Geneva. Military generals, intelligence directors, and scientists filled the room, faces drawn with exhaustion and fear. 2 weeks had passed since the alien ultimatum, and Earth was losing badly. Our best weapons can't touch them, General Wilson of the United States reported. Tanks, drones, even our most advanced stealth aircraft, all useless. These Black Star assassins simply walk through our defenses. On the main screen, footage showed the aftermath of another impossible assassination. The German chancellor had been protected by an entire building of security personnel, surrounded by motion sensors and body heat detectors. Somehow, she had still been killed without a single alarm triggering. They possess phase-shifting technology, Dr. Kamechi explained, pointing to barely visible distortions in the security footage. They can alter their molecular structure to pass through solid objects. Our bullets go through them. Our walls can't stop them, and our sensors can't detect them. The mood in the room darkened further. Every military countermeasure had failed. Nations with nuclear capabilities had even considered extreme options, but the Imperial ships remained safely out of reach, sending down their assassins with impunity. Admiral Park, a weathered South Korean naval commander, had been quiet throughout the meeting. Finally, he stood up. The room fell silent. Park's brilliant strategies had saved thousands of lives during recent naval conflicts. We are thinking about this problem the wrong way, he said. We keep trying to fight technology with technology. But what if we use something older? Something these aliens wouldn't expect or understand. Confused looks passed around the table. I propose we fight stealth with stealth, Park continued. Not modern stealth technology, but ancient stealth. The kind that existed before electronics. The room erupted in skeptical murmurs. You want us to fight space aliens with bows and arrows? Someone called out. Admiral Park remained calm. I want us to fight them with techniques they've never encountered. Their systems are designed to counter our modern methods. But what about skills developed when humans had only their 5 senses? He pulled out a tablet and displayed an image of a man in his mid-30s, with calm eyes and a quiet strength in his posture. This is Hyun Ki Kim. He is the 23rd generation master of the Shadow Pine Ninja Clan. His family preserved ancient techniques while others modernized. He trains without electronic aids. He hunts without thermal imaging. He fights without modern weapons. The skepticism remained thick in the room. How exactly will ancient ninja skills help against aliens who can walk through walls? The British representative asked. Admiral Park gestured to the door. 2 guards opened it, and Hyun-Ki Kim entered silently. He wore simple black clothes with no visible weapons. Most striking was how ordinary he looked, not the muscle-bound special forces type many had expected. "I will answer that," Hyun-Ki said with a slight bow. His voice was soft, but carried throughout the room. "Your technology detects what it is programmed to detect, but ancient ninja techniques observe what is actually there, not what sensors are designed to find." He walked to the center of the room and took a handful of fine powder from a small pouch at his belt. "May I demonstrate?" The leaders nodded, curious despite their doubts. "I would like someone to stand at the far end of the room. Don't tell me who." While Hyun-Ki turned his back and closed his eyes, the French representative moved to the designated spot. "Now, everyone please remain absolutely still and silent," Hyun-Ki instructed. He gently blew the powder into the air, where it hung like a fine mist. Then he stood motionless, eyes closed. For nearly a minute, the room remained perfectly quiet. Suddenly, Hyun-Ki pointed directly at the French representative. "You are breathing. I can hear the slight difference in how the air moves around you compared to an empty space." The demonstration continued. Hyun-Ki identified hidden objects, detected people concealed behind screens, and described movements in an adjacent room nobody else could perceive. These aliens use technology to bend light, block sound, and mask their heat signatures, Hyun-Ki explained. But they still disturb the air when they move. They still create subtle pressure changes when walking. Light still bends strangely around them. Modern sensors ignore these small changes, but trained human senses can detect them. Admiral Park nodded. "The aliens expect us to fight with guns and computers. They don't expect ancient techniques that were perfected over centuries to detect things technology cannot." Gradually, the skepticism in the room shifted to cautious hope. "Their technology may be advanced," Hyun-Ki continued, "but they rely on it completely. This creates a weakness. My ancestors developed techniques to detect those who did not want to be detected, using only the human body and natural materials." A silence fell over the room as the implications sank in. "What do you need?" asked the UN Secretary General. "A small team," Hyun-Ki replied. "Not soldiers, but people trained in traditional skills. Hunters who track without technology. Martial artists who fight without weapons. People who use their senses rather than devices." The plan came together quickly. While conventional forces would continue visible resistance to keep the aliens' attention, Hyun-Ki would lead a shadow team to hunt the hunters. As the meeting concluded, the Chinese representative approached Hyun-Ki. "Do you truly believe you can defeat these beings with ancient techniques?" Hyun-Ki nodded. "Throughout history, the most advanced armies have been defeated by opponents they underestimated. These aliens expect us to fight like modern humans. They don't expect us to fight like our ancestors." Within 24 hours, Hyun-Ki's team assembled at a remote mountain location. The world's fate now rested with those wielding skills most had considered obsolete for centuries. Tokyo remained under heavy security as one of the few world capitals still functioning. The Japanese Prime Minister had survived 3 assassination attempts, each time escaping by moments due to changing locations randomly. Intelligence suggested the aliens would try again soon. Hyun-Ki arrived in Tokyo under cover of night. He carried only a small bag containing simple tools, finely ground rice flour, thin bamboo rods, a wooden staff, and a short blade made through ancient forging methods. No electronics, no modern weapons. "This seems inadequate," said Captain Mori of Japanese Special Forces when Hyun-Ki displayed his equipment. "Modern weapons can't touch these beings," Hyun-Ki replied simply. "We must use what they don't expect." The Prime Minister had been moved to an old temple outside the city. Traditional in design but retrofitted with modern security, it represented Japan's last hope to protect its leadership. Hyun-Ki walked the grounds, studying the layout. "The assassin will come tonight," he said, looking at the clear sky. No clouds, no rain. Good conditions for their optical camouflage. Captain Mori looked skeptical, but followed Hyunki's instructions. The ninja placed small paper packets at key entry points, windows, doorways, ventilation shafts. Inside each packet was rice flour, finely ground to be nearly as light as air. When disturbed, the flour will hang in the air and stick to whatever passes through it, Hyunki explained. Even invisible beings displace air. As darkness fell, Hyunki positioned himself in the shadows of the main hall. The Prime Minister slept in an inner chamber, surrounded by guards with useless weapons. Hyunki sat motionless, controlling his breathing until it was nearly imperceptible. Hours passed. Shortly after midnight, Hyunki noticed a subtle change in the air. A slight cooling, almost imperceptible. He remained still, eyes barely open. One of the flour packets near the east window silently burst, its contents forming a thin cloud. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, like magic, a humanoid shape appeared as flour particles adhered to an invisible form. The outline moved with unnatural smoothness toward the inner chambers. Hyunki rose silently and followed. The flour-dusted shape stopped at a wall, apparently preparing to phase through it. Hyunki struck without warning, his bamboo staff sweeping in a precise arc. The staff connected with solid matter despite the assassin's supposed intangibility. The alien's camouflage flickered, revealing a tall, slender figure in form-fitting armor. Startled eyes turned toward Hyunki. "Impossible," the assassin hissed in accented Japanese. "Your primitive sensors cannot detect us." "I use no sensors," Hyunki replied, maintaining his fighting stance. "Only what my ancestors taught me." The assassin raised a weapon, sleek and metallic. A beam of energy shot toward Hyunki, who deflected it with his staff. Where the energy touched the bamboo, it simply dispersed rather than burning through. Confusion registered on the alien's face. The weapon should have vaporized any material known to humans. "This wood grows in sacred mountains," Hyunki explained calmly. "Treated with resins and oils passed down through 23 generations of my family." The assassin snarled and lunged forward, attempting to phase through Hyunki himself, a technique that had killed many human soldiers already. Hyunki pivoted and drew his short blade in one fluid motion. The metal, forged using techniques dating back to feudal Japan, sliced through the alien's phase-shifting field. The assassin screamed as solid metal connected with solid flesh. Dark blue blood sprayed across the floor. The alien stumbled back, looking at the wound with disbelief. "How?" it gasped. "Our molecular displacement field renders us untouchable." Hyunki didn't answer. He moved forward with practiced precision, blade and staff working in harmony. The alien's technology, designed to counter modern weapons, offered no defense against fighting techniques refined over centuries of human conflict. The battle lasted less than 2 minutes. When it ended, the Black Star assassin lay dead, its advanced technology defeated by skills developed when humans fought with nothing but blade and cunning. Hyunki knelt beside the body. A small device on the alien's wrist was blinking, some kind of communication tool. Hyunki had studied the alien's language from recordings captured during previous encounters. He carefully pronounced the words he had memorized, speaking directly into the device. "Earth knows shadow warfare. Send your best." Then he destroyed the device with a precise strike from his blade. On the Imperial flagship orbiting Earth, Emperor Taiwan received the message personally. Around him, his advisors and technicians worked frantically to understand what had happened. "Impossible," General Min muttered, reviewing sensor data for the 5th time. "We detected no energy weapons, no advanced technology, nothing that could harm one of our operatives." The Emperor's face darkened. "You assured me these humans posed no threat." "They don't," Min insisted. "Their weapons cannot penetrate our phase shifting. Their sensors cannot detect our presence. This must be an anomaly." The Emperor pointed to the screen showing the dead assassin. "This anomaly killed one of our best." How? The science officer stepped forward. We've analyzed all readings from the operative's suit before communication terminated. There were no energy signatures, no radiation, nothing our systems recognize as a weapon. What did the human use then? The Emperor demanded. Our sensors detected wood and metal, simple organic materials and basic elements, nothing that should have affected our technology. The Emperor's expression showed rare concern. The Black Star assassins had never failed before, across 100 worlds. Yet somehow, a single human with primitive tools had defeated their best technology. Find out how this happened, he ordered, and prepare a full team. If these humans have found a way to fight us, we must respond with overwhelming force. As the Imperial ship prepared its response, Hyumki was already disappearing into Tokyo's shadows. News of the first alien defeat spread quickly among Earth's resistance networks. For the first time since the invasion began, humans had hope. The hunters had become the hunted. The Imperial flagship buzzed with activity as Commander Sunho prepared his elite team. Sunho stood taller than most of his species, his skin carrying the pale blue markings of royal service. For 3 centuries, he had led the Empire's most feared assassins across dozens of worlds. Never had they failed a mission until now. The humans have gotten lucky once, Sunho told his 12 best operatives. It will not happen again. They studied footage from the Tokyo incident, recorded by their fallen comrades' visual implants. The human moved in strange patterns, using techniques their combat computers struggled to analyze. This human doesn't fight like the others, Sunho observed. He uses no technology we can disable. Prepare for close combat with primitive weapons. On Earth, Hyumki worked quickly to build a team. With communications compromised by alien surveillance, he traveled personally to recruit fighters skilled in Earth's oldest combat traditions. In the Amazon, he found Jeho, whose family preserved ancient Brazilian capoeira through 15 generations. In Kenya, he recruited Sangmin, a tribal tracker who could follow week-old trails through desert and jungle. From Russia came Daejung, master of the brutal but effective system of fighting style developed by ancient warriors. The aliens expect us to fight with modern methods, Hyunki explained at their hidden mountain base. Their technology is designed to counter electronic detection, ballistic weapons, and standard military tactics. But they have no experience with Earth's traditional combat forms. He trained them to detect the subtle signs of alien presence. Disturbances in dust patterns, the faint electrical smell of their phase-shifting technology, the barely perceptible shimmer in air when they moved quickly. Their first coordinated attack came when Black Star operatives targeted London. Jeho spotted an alien assassin by noticing how rainwater flowed around an invisible shape. Using signals developed before radio existed, the team surrounded the alien. The assassin realized too late it was caught. Its energy weapons fired wildly but met only empty air as the humans moved in fighting styles its combat computer couldn't predict. Jeho's spinning kick connected with solid matter despite the phase-shifting technology. Sangmin's poison-tipped wooden dart found a weak point in the alien's armor. When Imperial sensors analyzed the encounter, they detected no technology, no energy signatures, just the primitive organics their systems were programmed to ignore. Impossible, Sunho raged when another assassin fell in Moscow. These are primitives with sticks and stones. But more reports came in. In Cairo, a Black Star operative fell into a pit disguised with natural materials that sensors registered as normal ground. In Sydney, poison extracted from plants unknown to Imperial databases shut down an alien's respiratory system. In Mexico City, fighting techniques exploiting the alien's over-reliance on predictive algorithms left another assassin dead. They're targeting our technological advantages, Sunho realized. Using methods so primitive our systems don't register them as threats. Emperor Tadwan grew increasingly angry as his elite force suffered unprecedented defeats. End this, he commanded Sunho. Whatever resources you need, these humans must be eliminated. Sun Ho tracked the resistance to Seoul. Human intelligence had improved, predicting the aliens' moves before they happened. 6 of his 12-member team had already fallen to primitive traps and fighting techniques their computers couldn't analyze. The confrontation came in an ancient temple complex. Sun Ho entered alone, his remaining team surrounding the perimeter. The temple's stone walls and wooden beams had stood for centuries, built without modern tools or materials. Hyun-ki waited in the central courtyard, holding only a wooden sword carved from a single piece of oak. He wore no armor, carried no technology. "You've caused the Empire significant trouble, human," Sun Ho said, becoming visible. His armor gleamed with a metallic blue sheen, covered in small nodes and sensor arrays. "But it ends here. Your technology has made you forget the old ways." Hyun-ki replied calmly. "That is your weakness." Sun Ho laughed and activated his full combat systems. His armor hummed with power, sensors analyzing every aspect of the environment. Strength enhancers in his exoskeleton could crush stone. Predictive algorithms calculated billions of possible combat moves per second. "You bring wood against this," he mocked, gesturing to his advanced armor. Hyun-ki simply nodded. Wood has defeated empires before. The battle began with explosive speed. Sun Ho moved faster than any human could, his augmented reflexes allowing him to strike with perfect precision. But Hyun-ki flowed like water, never where the aliens' attacks landed. "Stand still and die with honor," Sun Ho shouted in frustration. But Hyun-ki continued moving in patterns that defied the aliens' combat computers. Every strike from Sun Ho met empty air, while Hyun-ki's wooden sword found gaps in the armor that shouldn't exist. "Your computers predict based on efficiency," Hyun-ki explained between strikes. "Human martial arts evolved over thousands of years. Some movements exist specifically to confuse opponents, not to be efficient." Sun Ho increased power to his systems. His armor began to glow with energy, sensors working overtime to predict Hyun-ki's moves. But this only created more weaknesses. Hyun-ki struck with his wooden sword at a precise point where 2 armor plates met. The wood, treated with resins from sacred trees, disrupted the power flow through the alien technology. Systems failed in cascading sequence. "Impossible," Sun Ho gasped as his phase shifting failed, leaving him fully solid. "Not impossible," Hyun-ki replied. "Just forgotten knowledge." With his technology failing, Sun Ho fought with raw strength and military training. But against techniques refined through centuries of human conflict, even his natural abilities proved insufficient. The battle ended with Sun Ho on his knees, Hyun-ki's wooden sword at his throat. "How?" the alien commander asked. "We conquered 100 worlds with this technology." "Perhaps those worlds forgot their ancient ways," Hyun-ki answered. "Earth didn't." The Emperor watched through Sun Ho's failing visual feed as his greatest warrior was defeated by a human with a wooden sword. For the first time in centuries, Ta-1 felt something he had almost forgotten: doubt. The Imperial flagship hovered over the Pacific Ocean, its massive shadow darkening the waters below. After 2 months of failed assassination attempts and the loss of their elite Black Star unit, the Empire had finally sent a message not of threat but of dialogue. "We wish to speak with your leaders," the transmission stated simply. World governments debated who should represent Earth in this critical meeting. Military leaders wanted to send generals. Politicians argued for experienced diplomats. In the end, they unanimously chose Hyun-ki, the man who had changed the course of the invasion. Hyun-ki prepared for the meeting with the same calm focus he brought to combat. He wore traditional clothing, a simple black guy with no decorations or symbols. He carried no weapons except a small wooden box tucked inside his robes. The Imperial shuttle arrived at the designated meeting point, a small island in international waters. Hyun-ki boarded alone. "You carry no weapons?" the alien pilot asked, scanning him with handheld devices. "I need none," Hyun-ki replied. The journey to the flagship took less than 10 minutes. Through the viewport, Hyun-Ki saw the true scale of the Imperial vessel, a city in space housing thousands of the aliens and their technology. Yet he remained unimpressed, his expression serene. Imperial guards escorted him through corridors of gleaming metal and pulsing energy fields. Other aliens stopped to stare at the human who had defeated their best warriors. Some looked afraid, others angry. Hyun-Ki noticed their reactions but showed no response. The Emperor's grand hall stretched longer than a football field. Alien dignitaries lined both sides, their ornate clothing and implants displaying their rank and status. At the far end sat Emperor Taiwan on an elevated throne that seemed to float above the floor. As Hyun-Ki walked the length of the hall, whispers followed him. "This is the primitive who defeated Sun-Ho. How can he look so ordinary? Where are his enhancements?" Hyun-Ki reached the throne and bowed deeply, showing respect but not submission. Emperor Taiwan studied the human carefully. After centuries ruling thousands of star systems, he had learned to assess threats accurately. This unassuming human had somehow defeated his best assassins using nothing but ancient techniques. "Your species has surprised us," the Emperor said, his voice amplified throughout the hall. "Few worlds resist imperial integration. None have defeated the Black Star." Hyun-Ki remained silent, waiting. "Your technology develops quickly," the Emperor continued. "In time, you might become a valuable addition to our civilization. We offer Earth protection and limited autonomy as a subject world of the Empire." The assembled aliens murmured in surprise. Such an offer to a primitive world was unprecedented. Hyun-Ki bowed again before responding. "Earth appreciates your recognition of our potential. However, we must decline subordination." The hall erupted in shocked voices. Declining imperial protection was unheard of. Instead, Hyun-Ki continued when the noise subsided. "Earth offers alliance as equals. We have different strengths. Together, we could be stronger than either alone." The Emperor's expression darkened. "You overestimate your position, human. One victory does not make you our equal. Our victory came not from superior strength or technology," Hyun-Ki explained calmly, "but from wisdom your empire has forgotten. In your advancement, you lost something valuable." The Emperor leaned forward, intrigued despite himself. "Explain." Hyun-Ki reached into his robes and removed the small wooden box. "May I approach?" The Imperial guards tensed, but the Emperor nodded permission. Hyun-Ki opened the box, revealing a simple wooden puzzle, interlocking pieces that formed a complex three-dimensional shape when properly assembled. "This puzzle has challenged human minds for centuries," Hyun-Ki said. "Children often solve it. Would your technology attempt it?" The Emperor gestured, and a floating drone approached. A beam of light scanned the puzzle, and a holographic display appeared showing the drone's analysis. "Our computational systems can solve any logical problem," the Emperor stated confidently. Everyone watched as the computer worked. 1 minute passed, then another. The display showed billions of calculations occurring each second, yet the solution remained elusive. Hyun-Ki waited patiently. After 5 minutes, he reached out and assembled the puzzle in seconds, his fingers moving with practiced precision. "Your technology approached this linearly, testing each possible combination," Hyun-Ki explained. "But the solution requires intuitive understanding of how shapes interact in space, something human children develop naturally through play." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "A simple demonstration proves nothing. It proves everything," Hyun-Ki countered respectfully. "Your assassins failed because they relied completely on technology. When faced with techniques developed before technology existed, they had no response. Your sensors detected weapons but ignored a wooden staff. Your combat computers predicted efficient movements but couldn't understand techniques designed to confuse rather than harm." The Grand Hall had fallen completely silent. "Technology creates blind spots," Hyun-Ki continued. "The ancient ways see differently. This is what Earth offers the Empire. Not just new technologies, but old wisdom, a perspective your civilization has lost." The emperor sat back, deep in thought. For centuries, the empire had conquered through technological superiority. No world had offered resistance worth noting. Until now. What guarantees do we have that humanity won't become a threat once your technology advances? The emperor asked finally. The same guarantee you offer us. Mutual benefit, Hyun-ki replied. We can learn from your advanced science. You can learn from our preserved traditions. Together, we close each other's blind spots. 3 days of negotiations followed. Earth representatives joined Hyun-ki on the flagship, working out the details of humanity's first interstellar alliance. The resulting treaty recognized Earth as an independent ally rather than a subject world. Earth would share its traditional knowledge with the Empire. In return, the Empire would share certain technologies and include Earth in its interstellar trade networks. When Hyun-ki returned to Earth, he carried not just a peace treaty but the beginning of humanity's entrance to the galactic community. Across the Empire, a new story spread of the primitive world where ancient warriors had defeated the most advanced killers in the galaxy. Many aliens dismissed it as exaggeration. Others traveled to Earth to learn these mysterious old ways. And in his palace, Emperor Taiwan kept the wooden puzzle on display, a simple reminder that progress sometimes means remembering what came before. The end.